What's going on, guys? Super Savage 789 here, bringing you guys a video. And today we're doing what if Itachi was the Hokage episode 1. I'm very excited for this one, so let's just jump right into it. In this timeline, shortly after Shisui's death, Itachi realizes what he has to do. Shisui believed in Itachi's dream of becoming Hokage. He needs to carry that out, otherwise the Uchiha might all be extinct. Itachi would find Hiruzen and tells Hokage to train him to be the 5th, shocking the 3rd. He questions Itachi about why, when he's so young, would he already want to be Hokage. Bare minimum, he needs to be older. No child could ever be Hokage. Itachi tries to justify his point to Hiruzen, telling him that it'll ease Uchiha tension if they know their future Hokage will be an Uchiha. Plus, Itachi's allegiance is to the Leaf, so he won't be controlled by the clan. Also, Itachi has more power than most shonen, showing off his Mangekyo to the Hokage in front of him. Hiruzen has to admit that Itachi's logic is sound. The boy is exceptionally smart, as Danzo has been telling him, so of course he'd come up with an idea like this. Besides, it's not like Hiruzen wants to be Hokage forever. He needs to find another heir to take over soon, so why not the prodigy of the Uchiha clan himself? After taking a puff from his pipe, Hiruzen tells Itachi that he'll agree to these terms, which Itachi thanks him for. He then leaves, bursting into crows as he does so. Danzo arrives in the room, asking Hiruzen if he thinks this will be a good idea. Hiruzen tells Danzo that he finally decided to take Danzo's advice, which would aggravate him, but he remains cool. Without another word exchanged, Danzo leaves, knowing his Uchiha prodigy won't be his to control anymore. Itachi returns to his father and reports to him about how he's trained to become a Hokage, making Fugaku become ecstatic as he tells Itachi, "That's my boy." Fugaku would hold a clan meeting where he tells him about it, declaring that this will make the coup go much more smoothly. It might not seem like it makes sense for the coup to still take place, however there's some stuff to consider. The plans were already well into the works, which is why Danzo couldn't allow Shisui to use Koamatsu Kami on Fugaku. Also, they have other stuff they need to achieve, like making the Uchiha be able to return back to the residential section of Leaf, as well as eradicate the prejudice placed against them. While most of the clan are in agreement with this, about 50 to 20% of them don't agree. One of the key points of the coup was to get Fugaku as a Hokage. However, if Itachi is going to be Hokage, he can do so in a less violent way and do everything they want. Naturally, none would bring this up verbally, but due to Itachi possessing unholy knowledge, he'd be able to deduce this just by looking at their faces. For over a year, Itachi would play in his double agent role for the Leaf and the Uchiha. While training as Mangekyo, he'd also be training with Hiruzen to learn how to be the Hokage in the future. Danzo would be trying to come up with strategies to take Itachi back, but it would be harder than originally first thought. The coup would be ramping up, with Itachi being placed in essentially the same spot. He bows in front of the council as they begin to discuss how to handle the situation. Having spent close time around Itachi for well over a year, thus him being the closest to the situation, Hiruzen would ask Itachi what he thinks should be done. Not all the clan are going to be attacking. Some are against him and will be fighting. I'd like to lead a squad of Anbu to hold off all the Uchiha who are attempting to fight, and if necessary, eliminate them. Itachi's cold but calculated answer would speak to all the members of the council. Since Itachi is both strong and smart, they'd agree to allow this. Over the Uchiha on the night of the coup, Fugaku would tell the weaker members of the clan, as well as those who don't believe in the cause, to remain at home as they'll mainly get in the way. Fugaku would then lead a sizable amount of the Uchiha clan and begin to leave the Uchiha compound, ready to set their plans in motion. As they arrive at the gates of the compound, the ones with their Sharingans active notice a couple Anbu members stood on nearby rooftops, throwing kunai at them, which naturally they dodge. A group of Anbu all land in front of the massive number of Uchiha, with the likes of Tenzo, Kakashi, and of course Itachi being there. Fugaku and Mikoto look at their son, internally shocked but hiding it on their faces. With his arms crossed, Fugaku rhetorically asks if his son has chosen the side of the Leaf. Without answering his father, Itachi tells Fugaku that he doesn't want to hurt them, and some of the Uchiha riled up at Itachi's comment. He's just a mere brat, what's he going to do? Realizing that neither party is going to back down, Fugaku sighs, upset and disappointed that his son hasn't chosen his side. His eyes flame to his Sharingan, as do everyone else's behind him, signifying what's about to occur. In his typical monotone voice, Itachi tells the Anbu members behind him not look in the eyes, and don't use wind release. Kakashi pulls out his Sharingan as Itachi activates his, ready for battle. A massive battle ensues between the Anbu members and the Uchiha clan. In the first minute, the weaker members of the Uchiha who don't have a Sharingan are snuffed out and murdered by the weaker Anbu members, leaving the likes of Kakashi and Itachi to take the main brunt of the force. With so much fireball jutsu going around, the Anbu members who can use water release to some proficiency are doing quite well, like Tenzo, and of course our favourite copy-well ninja. While Kakashi is fighting off Uchiha, a lot of them will be going for facial shots, which is normal practice for a shinobi. However, they aren't even going for fatal wounds. They're going for either upward slashes to her left eye, or straight going to gouge his eye out. It makes Kakashi realize that they want his Sharingan, so he takes advantage of this. Whenever someone goes to grab his eye, Kakashi can use his headhunter jutsu, or substitution jutsu, that will allow him to take out a lot of people quicker. To dominate the fight, Itachi activates his Mangekyo, and begins to demolish everyone in his way. Combined with Itachi's already strong body, this makes him quite deadly, as he slices through Uchiha elites like butter. When coming to Fugaku's advisors, Itachi would make sure to use his Mangekyo powers to make them suffer, taking enjoyment out of it like he did in the Book of Midnight. Fugaku and Mikoto would both attack their son, who would be holding back significantly, almost as if he's waiting for someone else to kill them. Almost like he's trying to encourage his son, Fugaku tells Itachi that it's okay shows him his path. They both give him a similar speech to what they gave him in canon, giving Itachi enough of a motivation to finally finish him off with tears in his eyes. After 5 solid minutes, about all the Uchiha lay dead at the feet of the Anbu, with barely any casualties on the side of the leaf. With so many dead bodies piled up, Itachi asks his Anbu members to take care of their corpses, as he himself leaves to go and give a mission report to the Leaf's council. When hearing about the results of the mission, no one is exactly happy to hear what happened. Danzo wanted the Uchiha removed completely, which wasn't what occurred. However, the way it was handled removed the majority, which is a relief. As for Hiruzen, he'd be on the opposite end of the spectrum, being glad that some Uchiha survived, but upset that the majority was killed. With the Uchiha now consisting of either resentful Uchiha, or Uchiha who didn't want the coup, the Uchiha would be allowed to leave the Uchiha compound and live in the confines of the Leaf. Itachi also wouldn't have to leave the Leaf, since he wasn't painted as a crazed con murderer, but as a man who was defending his village. Sasuke would be told by his brother about the death of his parents, however he'd make sure to leave out that he was the one who had to do it. I doubt Sasuke would be resentful of his brother, or hate him like he did, leaving him a more kind-hearted soul. Itachi and Sasuke would spend less and less time together due to how busy Itachi is preparing to be Hokage. In his childish ways, Sasuke would be training so he isn't left behind, while Itachi practicing shuriken training and all that good stuff. Every time Itachi gets some time off, he would typically spend it with either Sasuke or Izume, his girlfriend. He and Sasuke would spar, while Itachi shocked at his brother's progress. Somehow, he even has some basic jutsu he can use, like the lightning clones, confusing Itachi as to how he knows these kind of things. When he brings up to Sasuke, the boy would merely remark that he learned it himself, and he found a scroll lying around somewhere, almost as if he's covering up for something. By the age of 16, Itachi would be smart enough, strong enough, and capable enough where Hiruzen feels comfortable naming him Hokage. He'd be coronated in front of everyone, with people mostly supportive of him. Some are naturally against him due to him being Uchiha or being a child, however when they see him in combat they regret thinking that. It's like that seeing his brother become Hokage motivates Sasuke to also want to be Hokage. He'd mentioned this at some point in the academy when Naruto asked his students' dreams, getting a blonde boy sitting 2 spots away to scream angrily that he'll be Hokage, get into an intense screaming match, ending in an accidental smooch to the Uchiha a bit earlier than did it normally. Naruto would be a tiny bit more motivated to train to keep Sasuke down, but that's futile since Naruto can't really do anything since he's lonely. Having seen how useful Itachi's Sharingan was, Kakashi began to train himself, solely focusing on his left eye, where he'd awakened his Mangekyo to his amazement. Through training, he's able to get some proficiency in it, using it like he can the War Rock, before Power 1 even started, giving him quite a big amp. Regarding the Akatsuki, the roster would have a slight difference in its ranks. Orochimaru wouldn't have left the Akatsuki since he never attacked Itachi. People say that Orochimaru only joined to get Itachi's body, but those people are wrong. If you read the finale of the Book of Midnight, Orochimaru was already in its ranks when Itachi had joined, as Itachi had mentioned seeing Orochimaru before. People can argue that Orochimaru would go for Nagato's Rinnegan and get kicked out that way, and I'd have to shut that down for a couple reasons. The biggest reason being that he won't have the location Nagato so he can't take it. Even if he did though, he would need to take Nagato's body, which of course Orochimaru wouldn't do since Nagato is heavily restricted in how he can move. If he took the Rinnegan on Nagato's body, then he wouldn't be able to use it, which would cause him more problems. Also, Orochimaru would have some Uchiha bodies that he could take with the Sharingan, however there are several problems with that. All the Uchiha are extremely weak and would greatly handicap him even if it did give him the Sharingan. The two Uchiha alive that show promise are Itachi and Sasuke, so he'd take interest in the duo. Orochimaru would kidnap an Uchiha and take him to a hideout where he'd begin experimenting on their body, like cloning and adding Hashirama cells to the body to see if he can get an Uchiha body that's somewhat valuable, without having to take Itachi or Sasuke's. Injecting Hashirama cells into the body of the clones won't weaken the Rinnegan, by the way, since it isn't due to Senju and Uchiha blood mixing, but due to Indra and Ashura imaging. Kisame wouldn't like Orochimaru as much as he liked Itachi, however he would give him respect due to his view on the legendary Sannin. Orochimaru would give Kisame some forbidden jutsu or assist him in completing personal vendettas to win the Shark Skin Beast over, which would work to Orochimaru's delight. But guys, that's all over here. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment on us in episode 2. As you can see, this one was quite eventful, and although it's pretty much set up, it does lead into episode 2 quite well. The series might be a bit longer than most, so I'm going to try and pace it out, make it much more detailed, make it much more exciting, and yeah, bye!